So Starfield is a good game, but it's impossible to ignore the fact that the game is heavily flawed. So in this video, we will be focusing specifically on a couple of very major flaws that really impact your experience with the game. Now, keep in mind, the purpose of this video is not to start hate on Starfield. I, for one, love this game and I am enjoying every bit of it other than the flaws that I will be talking about in this video. So with that being said, let's jump straight to it. So right off the bat, let's just get rid of the most obvious one, which is the performance of the game. Now, if you are playing Starfield, and especially if you are playing Starfield on an NVIDIA processor, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. The game mostly would be running on between 40 to 60 FPS, but there will be a lot of areas where your FPS will drop down to 30-ish. And on that FPS, the game will become very jittery and it will just not be easy to control your aim and to move around. So that would really affect your experience with the game. But that's not it. It gets worse. In some scenarios, the FPS will drop below 5 as well. It has happened to me so many times, and it especially happens when you pause the game. Now, if you pause the game as such, you press the escape key and you pause it, or you open the inventory, or you press L to see your missions, or you access the inventory or whatever, right? If you pause the game in any way and you join back, for a couple seconds, the FPS will drop down to 2 or 3. And at that moment, all you can do is just wait for the FPS to go back. So for number two, we have character animations. Now, this does not come as a surprise to anyone that has played any Bethesda games before. In every single Bethesda game, the characters, if you ever interact with them, they will just be animated and they will be moving in such an awkward way. It just does not feel immersive at all. It's not a huge problem, it is not a huge flaw, but I think it was worth mentioning. But that's about it. It doesn't make or break the game by any means. Now, number three, and this right here is a big one, dialogue. Yes, dialogue. The game lacks so much dialogue that is actually mind blowing. Like, if you compare the game with something like The Outer Worlds, that game has so much dialogue. You can interact with literally almost any character, right? You can have a conversation with them, there will be dialogue options. That is not the case with Starfield. Matter of fact, it's way worse. You could have done something very major, such as finding an artifact or wiping out an entire building, and you would go back to your companion, you would turn to your companion and you would try talking to them, and there will be absolutely no dialogue option. Like, just watch this clip from one of my streams and you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Pretty much the same thing.
What can I help you with?
Really? We just found an artifact and you have absolutely no dialogue for it, man? Unbelievable. That's insane. That's crazy. Like, in a game such as Starfield, it's the dialogue that you can do with almost every single character what makes the game a lot more immersive. And the lack of such an important aspect of such a game really takes away the immersiveness from it. Now, number four, I have a lack of tutorials. Now, the game has a lot of complicated stuff such as ship building, weapon crafting, weapon modification, building outposts, and a lot more complicated stuff. But the problem is that there's absolutely no tutorials for these things. Like, for example, shipbuilding. There's only one paragraph written over there just explaining to you what this is. And there are several workbenches in the game as well where you can craft some food items or where you can modify your weapons and stuff like that. All of that stuff is done on workbenches, and there are several workbenches in the game, but the game does not explain you anything about them, and the UI of these workbenches does not help you either. This means that you have to go into these workbenches and spend a lot of time understanding it and learning it, or watch a YouTube guide or tutorial to understand it even better. Or as far as the shipbuilder is concerned, again, you have to do the same things in order to understand instead of having just a tutorial that sets you up from the beginning, because that's what Starfield doesn't do. It does not set you up from the beginning. Lastly, on number 5, I have loading screens. Now, if you are playing Starfield, you know exactly what I am talking about. Every single building, every single door is a loading screen. You go inside the ship, loading screen. You get out of the ship, loading screen. You enter a building, loading screen. You leave the building, loading screen. You go to another building, loading screen. You open a door thinking it's a loading screen, but it's not a loading screen. So you're like, what? What just happened? And then you open the next door and it's a loading screen. So many loading screens. Why are there so many loading screens in this game? Just let me open the door and enter. Like, it is so bad that every time I have to enter a building, I always think twice to myself because I'm like, I opened this door and it's going to be 10 seconds of a loading screen and it's going to be awful. And then when I enter another door, it's going to be another loading screen. And when I leave from here, loading screen. It's just, instead of just walking straight into the building to do the side quest or the main quest, whatever I have to do in there to talk to someone, pick up something, steal something, whatever. Instead of just entering it and doing it, I am always standing outside the door thinking to myself, do I really want to sit through another loading screen? It's that bad. Like, there's absolutely no reason for there to be so many loading screens in this game, but there are, and it's absolutely awful. With that being said, that'll be it for the video. Leave your thoughts about Starfield down below in the comments. What are the some things about Starfield that you like, and what are some things about Starfield that you hate? Other than that, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video, also turn on the notification bell. It will all really help my channel, and I will have videos coming out on a daily basis, and you do not want to miss them out. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.